Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Spivak takes place in the feature bout of UFC 243 Melbourne, Whittaker versus Adesanya. It's a great fight. It's a really good fight. It's not a high-ranking fight. Tai Tuivasa is ranked, I give him that, but it's not like... This isn't the most stacked of cards, but it's going to be a fun one. And it's two heavyweights. So odds are this is ending in a KO. Sergey Spivak is a guy who likes to come forward, throw heat. He will take you down if he can, but otherwise he's going to stand there and try and blast you. Tai Tuivasa is going to do the exact same thing. If you're fighting Tai Tuivasa at his own game, you lose. Blagoy Ivanov had to skirt around the edges, land his shots where he could, and try and capitalize on Tuivasa's recklessness. That's what he had to do. That was his job. JDS was rocked in the first round by a headbutt. Might have been a short hook. I think it was a headbutt. A head clash, sorry. Tai Tuivasa swinging, coming forward. JDS had to skirt around the edges, land shots where he can, and capitalize on the aggression of Tai Tuivasa. Sergey Spivak, in my opinion, doesn't have that style. I feel like he's going to go in there and try and go head-to-head with Tai Tuivasa. And when you play that retarded game, there's no one more retarded than Tuivasa. There's no one not retarded. There's no one better at playing that retarded game than Tai Tuivasa. He's got a good chin, okay? He's barely ever been KO'd. I mean, the JDS one, you can call it a KO, but at the end of the fight, he was punching from being full mounted, like on bottom. Like, JDS was pounding him, but he was, like, punching back the whole time. So, I guess it's a TKO. They had to stop it because he wasn't escaping. He was trying to punch back. He's got a good chin. He can take his shots. And Sergey Spivak's coming off a KO loss to Walt Harris not too long ago in UFC St. Petersburg. He got KO'd stiff by Walt Harris. Badly. Within a minute of the first round, he got destroyed. I don't like that he's coming back this quickly, and I think it's going to make him pay. It's his first KO loss of his career. I also did some research into his record. The opponents he's facing, yeah, they're okay. They're not good. They have a lot of fights, and some of you may be surprised, but yeah, Sergey Spivak's opponents have a lot of fucking fights. I'm talking about one of his opponents, Travis Fulton from the US of A, at light heavyweight, is 255 and 54. That is fucking insane. Okay? And for Sergey Spivak to be fighting a bunch of these guys, there are a lot of aging guys on their way out. He's a young guy with a good chin, coming in there, throwing heat, landing on a lot of these guys. I feel like it's going to make him pay against Tuivasa. I think Tuivasa's going to be a bit too big. He's not going to get bullied around the octagon, and he's going to come forward with reckless abandon, take all his shots, and blast him back. Tuivasa gets this one, and if Tuivasa loses... I mean, Sergey Spivak, you're talking about a guy who hasn't won in the UFC, lost his debut in the UFC. If Tuivasa loses to Spivak, I don't know what I want to see from him. Because that'll be 3 in a row. If he loses to Spivak, it's Greg Hardy or Bellator. That's genuinely the route for these guys. If you're losing a lot and you're ranked, it's genuinely Greg Hardy or Bellator. And that's all you can hope for. It's Greg Hardy, Cyril Gane, or Bellator. The two guys that are coming up, or Bellator. And that's your only option. I hope Tuivasa wins this one. I think he can be a star in the UFC. I don't know, though. He does worry me sometimes because he does gas the fuck out after one round. He lasts one round, and he's dangerous for one round. And then he just gasses. And it's hard to watch. And I hope he's fixed that problem. I doubt he has. Because he's that headstrong. I think he's going to go out there, stick his chin down, get in Sergey Spivak's head. Sergey Spivak coming off his first KO loss. Going to be a little bit tentative. Tuivasa is going to capitalise and blast him against the cage and get the KO finish in round 1. And then I want to see Tuivasa maybe, if Greg Hardy gets past his next opponent, Tuivasa's a good guy to put him in there with. I know it sounds crazy to be saying Greg Hardy versus these ranked guys, but hey, secretly, Greg Hardy's now 2-0 in the UFC. Yeah? So whether you like it or not, he's working his way through them rankings, and if he wins another one, he's going to be 3-0. Regardless who they're against, they have good records. And although people say he's not ready for the UFC, listen. He's winning fights. He's winning fights. Yes, he has that DQ loss to Steven Crowder. Alan Crowder, I think his name is, sorry. Alan Crowder. But whether you like it or not, he's winning fights. And I think we should put him in there with Tuivasa if he wins his next one. And if Tuivasa wins his next one. Or we could maybe do a Tuivasa versus Derek Lewis if Derek Lewis beats Blagoy Ivanov. That would be a great fight as well. And if Sergey Spivak wins, then we'll give him to another guy who doesn't speak English. Maybe Alexei Olenek. Maybe Alexander Volkov. One of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Match the guys that don't speak English with the guys that don't speak English. It makes sense. Okay? You don't want to waste a guy talking all this American, English, you can understand them, with a guy who has no idea what they're saying. Because that's wasted promotion. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Tuivasa's about to go crazy. Spaz out all over this guy. And probably land a punch that's going to KO him in the first round. There's not much technical advice I can give here. I'm not going to say, oh, if he works behind his jab. He's not going to work behind his jab. He's not going to throw leg kicks from the outside. He's not going to set up patterns. He's not going to fake takedowns and come over the top. Tuivasa's going to run forward. He's going to put his chin down. And he's going to swing hard. He's going to push the guy up against the cage and blast elbows. And if Sergey Spivak catches him, he catches him. And if he doesn't, Tuivasa's going to KO him. There's not much technical stuff to break down. Like and subscribe. It's a retard fest. And no one's going to beat Tuivasa at that game. Especially no Sergey Spivak. That's not happening. Like and subscribe. Click that button there. Goodbye. I've just offended every Tuivasa fan again. I like him. I'm sorry.